This is 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒇𝒐 𝗪, the genealogy librarian with the Wayne County Public Library. It's been a while since I've showed my face on the internet. I've been alive and well, been busy working on queries and a lot of other stuff during the time that the library's been closed. Although the library is closed to the public, many of us are actually working behind the scenes here to try to get some work done and have programming done for you guys. We're just sort of doing an online version of our programs rather than in person. So we also want to let you know that although the public cannot come to the library, our department is still answering questions. We are not taking phone calls at this time. However, you can contact us through email. You can contact the department at genealogy@wcpl.info, and that is genealogy@wcpl.info, or you can contact me directly. My name at 𝒂𝒊𝒌�@wcpl.info. That's 𝒂𝒊𝒌𝒊@wcpl.info. This is a new series that we're going to start. It's not duplicating, well, some of it may duplicate a little bit what I've done on YouTube, but on our YouTube station, I go in a lot more detail. This series is going to be just very simple snippets, usually lasting 5 to 7 minutes, and we're just going to do a basic series on how-to for genealogy. So today we're going to just talk briefly about just some of the tools we need to get started. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. You can probably have stuff just around your house that you can actually gather up to just begin starting. So at this point, welcome aboard, and if you have other questions or anything throughout, feel free to contact our department, or like I said, or you can contact me individually. Okay, so what do we need to get started with genealogy? First off, you need some pencils. Like I said, this is very basic 101. So you want to have a couple sharpened pencils, or if you like the mechanical pencils, you can use these as well. You also, I like using like a little pouch here. It has a three rings here that I can attach this to my notebook that I use whenever I travel different places, or even if I'm just at home doing research. I have a lot of my stuff stored not only digitally on my computer, but also in notebook form. So, but for the purpose of this, we actually need to have like a little pouch or a pencil case or something you can store your stuff in. So you want to have a couple nice pencils. You can just sort of stick them in here. I use mechanical pencils a lot. They have a finer tip for me, but you can use just a regular number 2 pencil or whatever pencils you may have. You may want to have a pen, but keep in mind if you are actually traveling and visiting different places, the archives or the libraries may not permit you to have a pen, so that's why it's very important to have your pencils handy. You also will want to have a pencil sharpener, because you never know if there's going to be a pencil sharpener available for where you're at. And you don't want to be somewhere taking notes and you only find out that your pencil's dull and you don't have anywhere to sharpen it. So you want to include that. In genealogy, you definitely have to have an eraser. Unless you're perfect, I know I use erasers all the time as I'm going through my stuff because I think I know information, and then I find some other documentation that disproves that, so I end up using an eraser to erase that information. You may also want to have a highlighter. This is not to mark in books that you're using unless it's your own personal book. But you sometimes may, if you're taking notes in a written format, you may want to highlight something, so it doesn't hurt to have one of those handy as well. And of course, you'll need to have some paper, just notebook paper, scrap paper, whatever you may have. This way you can take notes. Not everywhere will permit you to take pictures or make photocopies of stuff, and so there's times you want to take notes. If you have your laptop, you can actually take notes on different programs as well, or even on your smartphone. It's just whatever you decide to do, whatever your choice is. You also, in this era, you do not want to forget a USB drive. A lot of local libraries and archives actually will permit you to download images free of charge onto a flash drive, either making photocopies or using the reader scanner. So you want to have one of these handy as well. For those of you may want to have sticky notes. That can easily be put into your little toolkit here. That's in case you need to mark a few pages to make copies of, or if someone else has to make the copies for you, like the staff member, you can actually mark the pages for them. A magnifying glass. A lot of times you're going to be reading stuff that has a lot of fine print. Now, if you're looking at stuff on a computer, you can actually magnify those images, which makes it much easier to see. But for some of us, though, you may have a plat map that's not available online, and you want to actually see a better picture of it, or enlarge a section, so you can actually use a magnifier. And this can also fit in here as well, in your little case. Some places you may want to have some coins handy. Sometimes, you may want to check before you visit a library. They may only accept quarters or dimes or nickels. They may not have bills that you can actually use. So you want to check to see what that procedure would be for the facility you need to visit to make some copies of stuff, information. At a later point, you may also want to use a yellow transparency. And this actually helps highlight. If you have a darker image, if you put the yellow sheet over top, it actually adds some contrast to it. And a lot of times stuff that you could not see before, you can now see with this yellow transparency. A couple other tools you may want that would be a smartphone, if you have one, or some type of device that you can record audio or visual on. If you have a smartphone or an iPad, you can also take notes on that. You can actually make photocopies or take pictures of it. So this can be a useful device in this day and age. You may want to have some file folders as well. Now, I'm giving you a lot of stuff that you may want to utilize, and as we go through this series, I'm going to show you, how to organize your stuff as well, and why you may want something like this handy. You eventually will also want to have a working copy of a family ancestor chart or a family group sheet here. And I'm not going to go into any detail with this session. This is going to be next week's session in terms of some of the forms we use here. So I'm going to show you next week in terms of how to actually fill these out properly. And it's something you're going to want to utilize and have it with you no matter where you go, whether at home or when you're away from your place. The other thing I want to encourage you is if you're going to be doing a lot of research from home, and since the libraries are closed right now, you can access some of those databases free of charge with your library card, such as Ancestry Library Edition. Heritage Quest Online is also available remotely. Fold 3 you can access with at least the Wayne County Public Library card. So you may want to have internet access as well during this time. Or if you have a hotspot, they may work too. The other thing I want to encourage you is to actually bring along some common sense and have a good mindset when you're doing this. Keep an open mind. And we'll talk about why that will be important as we go through this whole series. When you are actually just getting started with genealogy, now that you have all the tools you probably need, you may have to add some stuff later on, how do you actually get started? And the main way to get started is to start at home, start with your own knowledge base, record what information you do know. Include names of people, places and dates of events, places of residence and the time period that they reside in that place, an occupation, military service, church affiliation. If you have any family members that's still living, now's the time to contact them and see if they can help piece together some of your family to get started on. And if they're older relatives, you may want to ask if you can actually videotape them or record them, either using a smartphone or an actual digital recorder, so you actually capture those images online. So for now, go ahead and begin preparing. If you haven't already done so, if you're just new to us, new to genealogy, go ahead and begin recording some of this information. And next week, we're going to show you how you can take that information and add it to a family group sheet and to ancestor charts and to actually begin organizing that information. For now, if you have any questions, you can email me directly. My work email is dkitko, that's DKITKO @WCPL.info. Or if you have just general information, you can contact the department at genealogy@WCPL.info. And I already have some YouTube videos on there. Go to the Wayne County Public Library YouTube station and take a look at some of those. I will be continuing the series with the case studies, as well as add some more stuff to the YouTube. So for now, I hope you actually enjoy trying to get started with your research and trying to begin organizing and getting your thoughts down on paper, or even on the computer if you prefer that. So I'll talk to you later. Stay healthy out there and stay well.